cover why I think you should consider doing this, where are some of the places you might go, what experiences you should think about, such as taking engineering courses abroad or doing research or internships, how you can figure all this out and where to find the resources you need. Additionally, you'll be hearing from UCSB engineering majors who studied abroad, as well as Francis, the College of Engineering Study Abroad advisor, who will speak about the process you should go through in order to be most successful in achieving your study abroad goals. This meeting is about specifically engineering abroad. To learn the general study abroad topics such as how to apply, housing, travel, things to consider, the general planning process, please come to one of our Friday weekly meetings, 101. We also have a Friday weekly meeting about costs and scholarship. These general topics are not going to be covered in today's presentation. But I will mention about money, that if you have financial aid, it will travel with you, and scholarships are available. You should apply, and just because you are an engineering major, you already have a plus when being considered for scholarships. Engineering majors are considered non-traditional study abroad students. I do want to talk about the pandemic. Obviously, that's had a major impact on studying abroad. All UC EAP programs currently have been suspended. Our next program that we are hoping will go on time will be March of next year. And we hope that, all the programs after that will proceed. Obviously, we can't guarantee anything. This is a fluid situation. But there's one thing we can guarantee. If you don't plan to go and you don't apply, you definitely will not be going. Applying is free, so just do it. So why should you consider going abroad as an engineering major? Studying abroad in engineering allows you to stay on track to graduate on time, have the adventure of a lifetime, learn more about yourself and the world, and improve your marketability for either grad school or the job market. And, it will offer you unique opportunities, whether it's coursework, research, social and professional contacts. Here are a few photos of UCSB engineering students who were able to have unique adventures like caving in the UK, dancing like a Scotswoman in Edinburgh, and fishing with a cormorant in China, all while studying abroad towards their UCSB engineering degree. So imagine the kind of adventures you could have. Where could you go? Begin with the UC EAP website. It has a Find Your Program search engine. So you can use that to identify your discipline, which they identify computer science and engineering, and then you can be more specific about the area. Once you do that, it will narrow down the programs. We have quite a few for engineers. Last year, over 35 UCSB engineering majors studied abroad in places such as Singapore, Germany, Sweden, Spain, and South Africa. You can further narrow that search by putting in things like you want your courses taught in English or perhaps a foreign language, and the term that you're interested in going. Another resource that you'll want to look at is the UCSB EAP website, different from the UC EAP website. So this is where you'll go to find specific information about UCSB topics, like when the program's due date applications are due, and major info. So we have an academics tab with a drop-down menu for all majors. And you'll find engineering majors, advice from your college, and also some videos from UCSB students in engineering who studied abroad. Another fantastic resource is the Gaucho Credit Abroad. You'll find that also on the UCSB website, and it has a listing of all the courses UCSB students have taken abroad and how they applied their credit. So you can search for engineering courses for the major. When I searched under engineering, there are over 300 courses. Now, keep in mind, this is a historic database. It doesn't tell you what is offered. It also doesn't tell you that you will necessarily get credit in your major for this. The best source of information on what courses are going to be offered on any particular EAP program is on the academics tab of that program website. So this is on the UC EAP webpage. So here's an example from Lund University, which is actually very popular for engineering students. And on that academics tab, you'll see there'll be links to the university course catalog, the engineering courses at Lund, special areas courses, the UC EAP course catalog, which has the list of courses that UC students have already taken on this program, and links to campus credit abroad. We've covered a lot of information about resources that you can use to search for UC EAP programs that offer courses in engineering, and where to find information about courses that students have taken in the past. Now I just want to cover a few points about what it is to be a student on UC EAP. So this is a system-wide program for all the UC students. And that means all the courses you take, no matter what the course on UC EAP, it will come back on your transcript. You will get units towards graduation. But if you want any of those classes to count towards your major, that is not automatic. You must take appropriate classes, you must get approval from your major department, and you must pass those courses and petition for the credit. Now, is it hard to get into UC EAP? Generally, no. Most of our programs have unlimited spots. So as long as you meet the eligibility requirements, such as the minimum GPA, you would be accepted. However, there are a few programs with limited spots, and those are indicated on our due date spreadsheet, which is on our website. So what you'll want to do is meet with your advisors. You are going to meet with Francis, the College of Engineering advisor, who's going to be speaking soon, and you'll make an appointment, and the sooner you talk to her, the sooner you'll be able to start your planning process. You'll also want to talk to your major advisors, and you probably will want to talk to them not only before you go, but perhaps while you're there. There's a good chance that what you plan to take and then what you actually enroll in may be different. So you can and should reach out to your advisors when you're abroad if you have any questions or concerns. If, for whatever reason, it doesn't work out for you to study abroad during the academic year, there's always summer. You could spend a summer studying Spanish in Madrid and still stay on track to graduate. UC EAP has a fully staffed office of advisors and student returnees. We are open every day of the week and eager for you to stop by and let us help you through this process. Few final tips: start your planning process now. It does take time, and you want to research all these options and pick the program that really best meets your needs and goals. Attend more meetings. We have info sessions coming up about different programs, different regions of the world, and as I mentioned, how to apply, scholarships, lots of meetings coming up. They're all on our UCSB EAP website calendar. Talk to your advisors at the academic department, at your college, and at the EAP office. And finally, and most importantly, just don't miss out. If you don't apply, you won't go. So Liam, go ahead and tell us, everyone, about your study abroad experience, where you were, and what you got out of it, and how it compared a bit to UCSB.
Okay, yeah. Looking at these pictures is giving me a lot of nostalgia. It's nice to see them again. My name is Liam. I studied abroad in Lund, Sweden, which is one of the places that was mentioned in the previous video. And yeah, I had a fantastic experience. As you can see, I got to do a lot of different things, including at the bottom left, cross-country skiing and also snowshoeing. I got to explore a lot of different parts of Sweden, which was great. And then The other three photos in this are actually places where I actually studied. So the top left and the bottom right, that's part of the beautiful town where I was in. And then the top right is Copenhagen, Denmark, which is really close by. So I'd say my favorite part overall about study abroad was just being able to coexist in this other world, essentially, that I'd never been to before. I'd never been to Sweden before this. I don't speak any Swedish or anything like that. But going there made me feel like I had a second home there, essentially. And regarding academics, engineering is going to be engineering wherever you go. There will be different expectations and such. And I had some experience with kind of overcoming those differences in expectations in terms of classes. If you want to reach out to me and ask any questions about finding classes or something like that, or how to deal with different study habits, I'd be happy to kind of answer that and tell you what I did. But it was a little different than UCSB in that regard. Yeah, it's a great way to meet new people as well, especially if you're kind of ready to get out of your comfort zone. I personally grew up in Santa Barbara and I go to UCSB, so I'd lived my whole life in Santa Barbara. So this was the first time I'd really left home for more than a few weeks at a time. So that was a really strange experience for me, getting to really live in this whole other place. And it really took a while to get used to, and that's something that it can be hard, but it's totally worth it, because you then see this place as this whole other part of your life, and it's half a year, and for me at least, you can do a full year as well, but it really changes you as a person. Like, I can hardly remember how I thought and what I was like before I left. I feel like such a more like older person and someone who's matured more just in that experience there alone. I guess you could go to the next slide and show a few more of the photos. Yeah, so some of these are more around where I was studying abroad. So the left photo is just by the Baltic Sea out there. And I had a lot of fun just exploring around the town where I lived as well. So I went traveling to other countries in Europe, but I thought it was really cool to really get to know the place where I was studying as well. And that was a great experience, because I know some people who studied abroad and spent their whole time traveling, and that is something you can totally do. But I think it's really valuable to really become used to your place where you are studying, because it will be your home for almost half a year or a full year, and I feel like it's worth it to really get to know it. The bottom right is actually this really cool thing with engineering in Sweden, if you decide to go there. There are these whole groups that they do where you meet other engineers, and you do all these events together. You do go to parties and such, but you do constructive events as well. We had things like you build a go-kart and out of wheels, and then you push each other around, and it's competition between other groups as well. Like, there's the mechanical engineers, and that's me. I'm mechanical engineering, and we all had those red jumpsuits down there. And then there are others. There's like structural engineering and electrical engineering, and they were all little friendly competitions. I'm not sure how many other programs have that sort of team building aspect, but I found it really valuable to have these kind of group projects to really push me towards doing engineering with people from completely different cultures, different backgrounds. I was interacting with other Americans, of course, and then Swedish people too. And then also lots of people from Spain, from Italy, some people from, I think, Japan, and then some people from South America as well, just like all over the place, all coming to Sweden. It was a really cool place to have all these different interactions like across the world. And I think that's super valuable even as an engineer, because later in life, you'll be working somewhere, presumably, where it'll be a pretty multicultural building. You'd be hard to find a monolithic culture in an engineering building. And I think having these experiences of being surrounded by different cultures, even different languages, and trying to overcome those differences is really good for you to kind of mature in that sense, and being able to respect and understand different cultures. And then besides all that, of course, it's just one of the most fun experiences I've ever had, just getting to meet all these new friends and new people to talk to and exploring new places in the world. I thought it was a really great time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, I'm going to pause here and do a quick poll just to find out who we have in the meeting. So if I launch this, are you guys seeing this now? Okay, so just please, it's just only 2 questions. I didn't put senior on there. If you're senior, sorry, I didn't get that as one of the options. But if you just take a moment, fill it out, it will let us know who's in the meeting, and I'll share the results with everyone. Okay, 2 more seconds and done. Ending poll, and here are the results. So we have a good mix of majors in the meeting, and we are populated with mostly freshmen. Bravo. As I said, that is great. Returnees will attest. It does take some time to plan. Francis will attest. So yeah, the sooner you start planning, the better. Sophomores, you're right on target. So that's great. Let me stop sharing that and let me turn this over to Francis Boris now, who is going to talk briefly on his experience and share a couple pictures. Go ahead.
Right. Hello, I'm Francis. So I'm a chemical engineer, and I went to London for the whole year to Imperial College. Really, somewhat what Liam was saying, I think, although yes, you get you get to experience a new academic area, and new people, new professors, top of the line, everything else. I think the most important part, or the most enjoyable about going abroad, is what you learn culturally. Like, I've traveled around Europe over my life, but I've never felt like I was one of them. When you go, you live there, especially for me when I was there a year, you get to actually feel like you're local. You go to the stores, you talk to people walking around on the streets, you get to go to little spots that, you know, you wouldn't have been to if you were only there for, let's say, a week or even 2. So when I was in London, well, you can see here, I have a little picture. When you first go abroad, you are met with EAP, and like you have this whole session, and you're welcome, and you meet everyone else that's from Santa Barbara, or even honestly across all UC system. And you go on little trips with them. They take you around, and you know, if you're worried about how you're gonna get there, and if you're gonna feel kind of uncomfortable, you have a lot of resources. The office there is really good. They respond to your emails. You know, you have you have a couple meetings with them over the year, and yeah, so you shouldn't feel too anxious about that. And then traveling wise, I didn't travel too much because I kind of enjoyed myself in London itself. But and if you're afraid to maybe invest in traveling to a different country, especially if you're in Europe, you have so many countries around. The EAP program they also organized a few trips for you. So like from London, we went to a couple places like Canterbury. You meet up with UK students from UC all around. You come together and you have a good time. For sure, if you do go and there is a planned trip, I recommend doing them. They're already in the cost of going, so they're pretty much free in that sense. But yeah, if we can go to the next picture, maybe I can talk about that. Yeah, I didn't take many pictures. I'm not a big picture guy, but yeah, so the previous picture, you don't have to go back, but that was just a little picture of Camden Market. So there's all these different really cool places, especially if you're interested in London. I know for the chemical engineers, most people, if they do go abroad, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about other engineers right now, but you know, a lot of people go to Edinburgh, which is great and amazing, only part of the year. And for Imperial, I think I was the first chemical engineer to go in the last 6 or 7 years. So, you know, I think that also applies to all engineers, that not a lot of us go abroad. And honestly, it's really amazing experience in that you can, like Liam did really well in talking about a lot of points about just immersing yourself in the culture. And, you know, in my university that I was in, just people from all around, a lot of French, you know, people from Asia, Japan, China. And, you know, you could just all come together and have a good time. Especially we had a university pub. So, you know, after class, you know, go down to the pub, have a few drinks with the mates, and then, you know, talk about where you came from and all this. And, you know, it's, yeah, pretty amazing. Just, you know, yeah, here's, so in Imperial, it's just all the chemical engineers who came in an exchange program, not from UC. Yeah, some people from France, Australia, Spain, America as well. And yeah, so I can't speak for all other universities, but at least in my university, what I experienced is that, you know, in the UK, the university system, how they operate is they really focus on individuality and like independence. So it's very different from UCSB, where you have homeworks every week, you have this and that, and you have to be on a schedule. Over there, it's kind of like, I didn't really have any homework, some projects. And they really had a lot of clubs, and they allowed you to immerse yourself in different things that you enjoyed, while also meeting people from all around the globe. Same for Sweden, yeah. So I guess, yeah, that's good. So yeah, you just had so much time, not in a bad way, but like it was a good feeling when you actually studied. You felt like you were studying for yourself rather than having to be on top of this homework that's just eating you away every single week. And yeah, so you had more, you could like go out, have time with your friends, you could maybe go on a trip. You had so much more time than you have in UCSB. Not to say that you shouldn't be studying, because, you know, at least in the UK, you have, you have 2 semesters, but pretty much all my exams were at the very end. So like May, June, I had 9 to 11 exams at once within a month. So yeah, pretty much weeks of studying, just hours and hours and hours. So have your fun for sure. And then you get to study a little bit as well. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. Now that you both gave great insight to the experience. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Francis, the College of Engineering advisor. Then we are going to turn it over to 2 more students who are going to talk about their experience. We have Addie and Yutong. One studied at University of Edinburgh as a chemical engineer, the other at Imperial in computer science. So.
Right. Well, happy to have so many of you joining us today, and it is nice to see our returning students as well. As I already mentioned, my name is Frances, and I am one of 4 advisors in the College of Engineering, although I have the distinct privilege of being the advisor who works closely with all 5 engineering majors who would like to go abroad. I went abroad as a student. I've lived in Spain as a student, actually through EAP, in a town called Alcalá de Henares outside of Madrid, and then in 2013 I went back to teach English in Spain. So this is a project near and dear to my heart. You will find that the College of Engineering is supportive of our students studying abroad. I know you might be looking at your gear and you might see that 4-year grid and wonder how it is possible. It is possible. It does take work, as I'm sure our 4 students who are 4 returnees will attest, but part of that work is really front-loading the work before you go so that there are no surprises when you get back. I'm going to try to keep my part short, but take out your phones, come up to this, get this QR code, and this will take you to our Study Abroad website. This is the College of Engineering Study Abroad website. On there, I have a video where I walk you through all of the steps. You will find my appointment booking link. Please schedule an appointment with me this month so that we can meet individually to talk about your goals. And then I will walk you through the very specific process of getting your courses pre-approved. So this picture is in Cape Town, and the first picture, actually, I think Liam had, is from Lund as well. So steps to prepare and our timeline. This is the month where you are, if we are thinking about fall 21 abroad, then this month you should schedule an appointment with me. If you are a first year student who is trying to figure out when to go abroad, the most common time is actually fall of your third year. And so we start this process basically the year before you go. So if you are a first year student, you don't necessarily need to meet with me this month. I start often meeting with my first year students in spring quarter to kind of get you prepared for the work that you'll be doing in fall quarter of your second year to prepare for going abroad third year. If you are trying to go abroad in summer 21, no matter what your class level, you should be meeting with me this month. We do ask you to prepare courses for your UCSB faculty to review. And so ideally, this is for best practice. We're going to meet this month so I can walk you through the steps. November, you're going to do the heavy lifting of getting all the courses arranged and trying to match things up so that we can have your faculty review it. And then ideally, that gives you your December break to work on your EAP application, because many, not all, but many applications are due in January. Some early, some late, and a few in February. But again, this is just for best practice, so that if we find a program where we've never sent an engineer from your major, and if it's not a good fit, then we still have time to move on to plan B, because my goal is to get you abroad. So what to expect when you meet with me, and why are you meeting with me? Well, as you know, you do need to get your courses matched up. And so when we meet, I'm going to ask you to think about why you're going abroad so that we can figure out how to achieve your goals. I will be frank. Sometimes there are destinations that do not offer engineering coursework in English. Or sometimes there are destinations that do not offer the engineering coursework you need in the quarter that you need to go. And so we're going to kind of come up with this system of evaluating what's most important to you in going abroad so that we can get you the best fit in terms of programs. So maybe if you're really strongly want to go to a particular destination, then maybe we have to think about a different quarter. Or you really want that experience of doing your fall quarter junior year abroad, then maybe we change the destination. I will walk you through how to search for programs. We'll talk about how to search the host institution catalogs, because some of them are super easy and some of them are not so easy. And so you're not alone. I just want to emphasize that I will help you do this, and we have some resources. And then I'll also refer you to the departments so you can know which courses you must take while abroad. So here's the less fun stuff. Of course, there are forms. We do ask for some particular way to get some of your courses identified in advance, and I'll talk to you about the course assessment spreadsheet, because we're really going to be looking at a wide variety of courses and figuring out, well, is it this one or this one? Is it both of them? Is it either of them? And then part of the EAP actual application is the academic planning form. When you apply, UC Education Abroad wants to know that you've met with your advisors, and so that will involve some digital signatures from your major and from me on behalf of the college. So just so you're aware of some limitations, if your major has a required capstone, which is everybody but computer science, senior year, your fourth year, is not an option for you. Computer science majors do not have a required capstone, and so we actually have sent CS majors in their senior year. If you are going in a quarter which is a fall, winter, or spring quarter, you must match the curriculum that you normally would be taking here at UCSB. This is especially true for everyone but computer science, because those four majors, chemical, mechanical, electrical, and computer engineering, your classes are taught and offered usually only once a quarter in a specific sequence. So it's very important. Computer science tends to teach, it's the largest of the five majors, they tend to teach their coursework a little more frequently, and so we sometimes have a little more flexibility. And then again, some countries only offer their engineering curriculum in a language other than English. If you speak that language, awesome. If you don't and you're a freshman, we might have some time to work that out, but otherwise sometimes there are some limitations. So I do want to be really encouraging. We send lots of engineers abroad. We were supposed to send the most we've ever sent in this academic year, fall 20 through spring 21. So we're very supportive, but like I said, your curriculum is taught in such a specific way that we want you to match it up. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but this is that course assessment spreadsheet, and you and I, when we meet individually, we'll talk about it, but this is the way to propose and in an organized fashion that your UCSB faculty look at your courses, who you are, where you're going, when, what you're trying to fulfill, and what you think the match at the other institution is. And then your faculty can say yes or no, it's not a good fit. And then the academic planning form, as I mentioned, that's actually part of your UC EAP application, where we're going to put what you're actually going to do. So this is step 2. It comes after the spreadsheet, where we sort of narrow it down to figure out what could be a good fit. Your major department signs, and I sign last on behalf of the college. So what to do now? Please look at the COE Study Abroad website. That's the one with the QR code. I have listed some common destinations. I want to be really clear. Those are not the only option. Those are common destinations where engineers have gone, but I am always looking for students to find an option that nobody's explored before, or revisit an option where no one's gone for 6 or 7 years. Fall 19, we sent our first mechanical engineering, to my knowledge ever, to Cape Town, South Africa. And so now we know what those courses are to match the curriculum. So I'm always looking for my trailblazers to help us figure out new places to go. Spend some time thinking about where and why you want to go and what it is you want to accomplish, because that's gonna help us sift out your options. Look at the resources that are available on the UCSB EAP site that Chris mentioned, and then please schedule an appointment with me. It books directly to my calendar through Shoreline. They're half-an-hour appointments, and so I can walk you through how to get started. And so lastly, if you need that website again, the QR code is there. My email address is super easy. First name, last initial at ucsb.edu. And as I mentioned, I actually studied abroad in Alcalá de Henares, and the photos on the left and the right are actually the last time I was in Spain, which I think was 2018. I go back about every 2 years. And the photo, the old one in the center, is actually from when I studied abroad. We made it into the local newspaper. That was my cohort from 2002 to 2003. So strongly encourage you to reach out to me. Again, this QR code takes you directly to the COE Study Abroad site with all the links that we've talked about today. So that's my part.
Fantastic. Thank you, Frances. So let's turn it over to our other students. Yutong, you're here, and you were in Imperial College, and I have a picture to share with everyone from your time there. So tell us a little bit about your experience there and what you have to add.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Yutong. I'm fourth year computer science major. It's actually my second time to study abroad, because I was grew up in China and went to UCSB for my undergraduate study. And I'm surprised that UC EAP gave me another chance to study abroad. So studying in US and the UK is totally different experience, and but both of them are pretty fun. The most difficult time for me is actually the preparation period for me to choose which program I should attend and which whether I should go to study abroad again. But as long as you arrive there, everything just goes very smooth, and everybody is helping you. So it makes me feel like a really freshman when I arrived there. You get to know the totally new people and totally new different cultural so it's really fun. So I think it's really important for you to know that when you study abroad, you are not alone. There are other support from UC EAP. It's really helpful for you. So for this picture, for us, we have a UC EAP office in the London, which is really convenient for me, because it's just where I studied. So they would arrange a lot of activities and arrange meeting with you. If you have any problems, you can just talk to them. So here is a picture for all the students from UC who went to UK for abroad. So they arranged the trip for us, So it's like all your costs is being covered by EAP. So it's like pretty fun to see all the people you know from UC, and then you like be union again in London and like in the trip, and then you get to know the new people like who you don't know before, who is also from UC. Can we go to the next picture? Also, this is a picture for me on the end of my program. It's from my Imperial College. Like, it's just the end of our project. So the school gave us the opportunity to like have fun. So they hold a party for all the computer science students. It's actually in a pub. So like we can like really rest ourselves because we really study a lot in the year. So like you can see from your host university and UC EAP, they just like continue to give you support, but you should not like just feel like, okay, I'm exchange student, so I can like have lower requirements for me, but you actually like need to think, you actually should have the high requirement for yourself because you don't represent only yourself, you also represent the UC EAP and other students study abroad. But except from that, like you have, you just feel like you are the local and you can enjoy all the benefits they can provide to you, both from EAP and from the host university. That's all. That's my part.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have, let me stop that sharing. We have another returnee, Adi, who was abroad last year at University of Edinburgh. Take it away, Adi. Tell us a little bit about your experience and, reflect a little on, what you think you got out of it personally and why you might recommend for other engineers to study abroad.
Sure, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Adi. Am I back? Okay, cool. I'm a senior in chemical engineering, and I studied abroad at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland in fall 2019. And I mean, honestly, I can't recommend it enough. It was a really, really amazing experience. I'd say kind of the biggest advantage to it, and the way I think about it, is that you don't really ever get a chance to live in another country like you do here. It's something that's kind of just in general really hard to do. And so this is a really unique opportunity that UC EAP gives you. So I guess first, in terms of academics, that's definitely something I was kind of intimidated by when I was trying to get everything arranged. And typically most chemies tend to go to the University of Edinburgh just because you know what classes you have to take, because that's where a lot of other people have gone. Now that Francis has been to Imperial, there's also, I guess, a set list of classes that you can take there too. So it's great that that's another option as well. Academics abroad, well, I can speak specifically for the University of Edinburgh. To be completely honest, it's just easier. A lot of like chemies look at studying abroad as kind of a GPA boost because just, I don't know, I guess just different standards, but it just happens to be easier there, which is really nice. Let's see. Other things. Yeah, so I guess speaking more on academics, another thing that I'd maybe watch out for that Francis also touched upon is that generally in the UK, you don't really have homework. And so your test or your grade is just one test. It's basically just a final, which is a little bit intimidating, but if you prepare enough for it, it's not too bad. And then on to kind of maybe the more social aspects. One of the really great things that I appreciated a lot was the presentation you have. So there's a chance where you basically meet all the UC people that are studying abroad, specifically at the university you're at, and that gives you a really great opportunity to kind of meet other people that are abroad. And then another thing that I would really recommend is the clubs and societies fair that they have at the beginning of the year. It kind of shows you all the different organizations you can join. So me personally, I joined a soccer team while I was abroad, and that kind of became a group of people that I spent a lot of time with. And it's kind of a way to stay active and also another social group, which I really enjoyed. And then finally, well, I only spent one semester abroad. I'd recommend doing a year because by the end of it, I really want to stay longer. And I think overall the experience is just really great because you don't get the chance to kind of be and live in another country. And like the other people mentioned, there's a big difference between just visiting and actually living somewhere else. And so that was something I really enjoyed. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wonderful, thank you.